the NFL draft concluding and marking pretty much uh, a big part of what the NFL season is going to look like. Obviously, starters are going to be trying to fight for starting jobs. Rookies are going to try to fit in with their teams and figure out what they can do. I mean, these are key times, obviously, for teams to figure out what they're doing, how they're rebuilding, if they are rebuilding, how they're retooling, and obviously the end goal for all these teams, regardless of what the opinion is or how the roster is to win a Super Bowl, obviously. So, with that said, let's take a look at these positions that I always have on the year-to-year basis. Obviously, I'm definitely trying to extend more into not just these rankings and trying to actually go in deep and dive into other topics that I would like to get to. So bear with me. I know I've been doing this for a while and it's the same topics, same top 10 tiers. But I do want to move on and try to do other top 10s in terms of different areas of the game in the sports, but even outside of sports, let's be real. So I have a lot of passion for this. I'm excited. Anyway, enough of my ranting. Let's look at the honorable mentions. We start with Dak Prescott. Honorable mention. Last year in my countdown, he was honorable mention. He's staying there. Why is he staying there? A main reason is one of uh, one of the most roller coaster type QBs you can think of. A guy that when he cooks and he's on it, he's on it. Great entertaining football player, absolutely. Definitely, obviously the hate because of a cowboy, but at the end of the day, Dak Prescott has had great games, and then he's had really bad games, and the turnover and the really crucial plays where he can make it and he doesn't. And then there's the injuries, man. And that's really what's been killing him. And unfortunately, this year, that was the problem. He got injured and he didn't play as many games as he wanted to. The quarterback position is definitely elevating, and I think Dak is still relevant, but he definitely is not in a top 10 conversation as of right now. He's 31 years old, 9 years in the league, 4 years, $187.75 million left on that deal. He has a 2028 potential out to get out of that contract. Honestly, I see Dallas, and with the current owner of Jerry Jones, I don't see him moving on from him. I think everyone has belief in him. Regardless, he's got to win, right? So, and they've been saying this for years. He only played 8 games, 64.7 completion percentage, 1,978 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks, 247.3 yards per game, an 86 QB rating, and a 45.3 QBR, which is not awesome. He was sacked 21 times. Again, they really are built on a pretty good offensive line as they're trying to rebuild it. He had one fourth quarter comeback. He had one game winning drive. He had 13 rushes for 54 yards and a touchdown with 6.8 yards per carry, uh, yards per game, excuse me, and 4 fumbles, which is not awesome. Again, Dak Prescott is very hard to. It's like you want to sympathize with the man, and then he goes and kind of just throws in the towel, and like it just feels like he just puts up a horrible game. So, again, very wishy washy. I think he's still relevant. Can he lead this team to the Super Bowl? That first of all, he's got to lead a team to the NFC Championship game before I even make that assumption. So, Dak Prescott, hopefully he comes back, does not get injured, and brings it this year, and obviously leads this team to more than what he's been known as a wild card quarterback. We do have Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, this is a QB that honestly super hyped from the draft. A guy that everyone thought he was going to be. It felt like the next coming of Jesus here, where they just thought he killed it in Clemson. He's going to kill in the NFL. Now I'm not going to trash him because he hasn't had like the most organized, the most prestigious organization to play for, right? Jacksonville is a very up and down team. They've had great years, and they've had really bad years. And they've kind of been on that mid tier to bad tier for a while. It's just an organization that's just, I feel like, still trying to find an identity here. And a big thing is trying to keep Trevor Lawrence healthy, which they were not able to this past year. I think his ability is there, and I think he could possibly be a really, really solid starter in this league. I think he could honestly be a threat and definitely be a top 10 type guy. But again, he's going to have to be healthy. He's going to have to produce. And with the weapons that he's gotten, I think this is kind of his time to be like, he really needs to step it up, because if he does not, I don't believe that they should move forward with this, because of the fact that Trevor Lawrence has had an opportunity to bring it. And again, this is kind of, he's in the moments of, you need to perform now. He's got some weapons. So Trevor Lawrence, 25 years old, 4 years in the league, 6 year, $267.34 million. He has a 2029 potential out of that contract. 10 games played, 60.6 completion percentage, 2,045 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 picks, 204.5 yards per game, 85.2 QB rating, a 59.5 QBR, sacked 18 times, one game winning drive, 26 rushes for 119 yards and 3 touchdowns with 11.9 yards per game, fumbled 3 times. Again, they want to go to the playoffs. They have the ability of rebuilding and retooling. Sure, they need Trevor Lawrence to stay on the field. I think as long as he's on the field, I do believe they have a really good chance of winning some games, and it's going to be a competitive South eventually. So I believe he's got to step it up now with what he's got. So I'm hoping he stays healthy and really proves what kind of QB he is. Obviously, trying to prove he's not a bust. Next up, I think part of me is like, do I put him in there? And a part of me is like, but he's had okay years. He's like a modern day Joe Flacco to me when he was in Baltimore. He's like, he doesn't get a lot of yards, he doesn't get a lot of touchdowns, kind of throws a few picks, but isn't the numbers are not like extremely atrocious where I'm like, he needs to not even be on the list. I think he's relevant. I think he's still relevant. I think what he was able to do last year with New Orleans, I mean, he had some great numbers last year. He had some great years in the league. This year, again, didn't play a full season, so he is definitely kind of on that burner of that last type of straw with me in terms of that honorable mention slash not even put him on the list at all. But again, last year he was honorable mention. So can he be Derek Carr of like 2016? Maybe not, but still, like, can he get to a close enough place where he is being super successful? 34 years old, 11 years in the league, 2 years, $90 million, 10 games played, 67.7 completion percentage, 2,145 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 picks, 214.5 yards per game, 101 rating, 63.4 QBR, sacked 8 times, one game and winning drive, 17 rushes for 71 yards and a touchdown, 7.1 yards per game with 3 fumbles. Again, I think he's a good fit for New Orleans. That's the QB for now until Tyler Show, I believe, will take over. But Derek Carr, give him his flowers as of right now. Tua Tagovailoa. Last year he was actually a top 5 guy, so this is rough to see, and really just rough to really talk about, because his ability is there, and I think he's a very entertaining QB. I think he's got the ability of being a top 10 guy. I believe he will be at the end of this year. I think he'll still be okay. I think he'll go back in there. Maybe not top 5. I need to see him win some playoff games. I need him to continue to stay healthy, which is not a thing for him. This man loves to not he doesn't love it, but he just gets concussions. He gets annihilated. And I mean, maybe it's because the offensive line can be a lot better, but also it's the fact that this man just he plays with all of his heart, and I admire that. I appreciate it. Just the concussions are a huge problem. Not even just for the NFL. I mean, we're not even let's not talk about sports. I mean, like in real life, hit injuries like that is going to be insanely negative for him. And obviously, like, you don't want to see a person go to CTE and see what's been happening with other athletes that have had that problem. So it is scary, man. But Tua's got the talent. He's got the potential. He just needs to really thrive and try to maybe figure out how to protect himself more. Obviously, they need to help him as well in this organization. Tua is 27 years old, 5 years in the league, 4 years, $192.44 million. He's got a 2027 potential out. 11 games played, 72.9 completion percentage, 2,867 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 7 picks, 260.6 yards per game, 101.4 rating, 60.3 QBR, sacked 21 times, 2 fourth quarter comebacks, 2 game winning drives, 17 rushes for 49 yards with a 4.5 yards per game, and 7 fumbles. Definitely can obviously decrease the fumbles, and overall has not terrible numbers. Passing wise, not bad, man, for the amount of games he played this year. So overall, is he relevant? I think yes, for sure. Can he get to a top 10? Yeah. It's just it's gonna take him being healthy and him putting up some numbers, and essentially he needs to win a playoff game, dude. And that's where it's at. Okay, Jordan Love, man. Jordan Love on this list. Last year, he was an honorable mention. This year, still an honorable mention. Again, this is a tough list, man. There's a lot of good QBs out here, man. But Jordan Love, he has the ability of being on that list as well. It's just another young QB that's playing in Green Bay. A lot of people were kind of doubting this man. He just kind of pulled a rabbit out of the hat, like Green Bay does, where their QBs are just they become stars, man. Jordan Love, obviously, he learned under Aaron Rodgers, so that could have definitely played a part in where he's at. But yeah, this guy has a lot of tools to be really good. Definitely, sometimes he throws some weird head scratching throws and reads, but overall, like, he's been pretty productive and some guy that a guy that you think that could lead a team, and he's already done it where he's led a team in the playoffs, at least to the divisional. Went on the road and destroyed the Cowboys. So he has the potential, right? Jordan Love, 26 years old, 5 years in the league, 4 years, $152 million, 2027 potential out, 15 games played, 63.1 completion percentage, 3,289 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 picks, 225.9 yards per game, a 96.7 rating, a 69.3 QBR, sacked 14 times, 2 fourth quarter comebacks, 2 game winning drives, 25 rushes for 83 yards and a touchdown with 5.5 yards per game and 4 fumbles. Um, the playoffs against the Eagles, 1 game, right? 60.6 completion percentage, 212 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks, 41.5 rating, 2 sacks. 2 times he got sacked, 2 rushes for 10 yards. He was 10th in passing touchdowns in the NFL, so good for him. Overall, it was the Eagles. That was essentially that was the best team in football. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl, so you know, it's not a that should have been a better game. It's just a learning curve for him, and I believe that obviously he's going to have better postseason games like he had in Dallas. So I'm excited to see what he does, and I do want to see him succeed, and obviously eventually move on from honorable mention. Next up, we go to the Atlanta Falcons, where Kirk Cousins is questionable on even if he's going to be a starter next year. They started Michael Penix at the end of the year. Yeah, Kirk Cousins had a rough year, man. I enjoy his backstory. I like that he came out of nowhere when he played for Washington, and I mean he had some solid years. He had a pretty good, decent year with Washington. He went to Minnesota, killed it. I mean, he had the great receiving core there. Atlanta isn't the worst offense, right? They definitely are looking for more pieces, obviously. And again, it's an adjustment period. I think he went to Atlanta. It is what it is. He had a rough year. I believe he can come back. I'm kind of confused as to what Atlanta's going to do because if you're going to start Michael Penix, which I believe, he needs more reps, or at least if you drafted the guy, that means you got to have him in some type of your future, right? So, are you going to even uh, have Kirk Cousins? Or are you going to trade him? What are you going to do? You paid him all that money though, so what are you going to do? It's one of those like kind of where are they going? Where's the head at? So It depends, man. I don't know if he will be on a list next year. If he'll even play this year. If he I don't know, man. Like it's confusing, but because of his history of the league and where he's been at, I still believe in him in terms of a QB. He's got some great games, right? And I think that he should get some props. 36 years old, 13 years in the league, 3 years, $117.5 million with a 2026 potential out, 14 games played, 66.9 completion percentage, 3,508 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 16 picks, 250.6 yards per game, 88.6 rating, 50.4 QBR, sacked 28 times, three fourth quarter comebacks, three game winning drives, 13 fumbles, which is a lot of turnovers for him, man. 13th in comeback player of the year. He was eighth in passing yards per game in the league. He was ninth in game winning drives in the league, and he was fifth in comebacks in the NFL. So overall, he had a he had some great stuff going. Right, there's some positivity here, but again, the guy is gonna need to. We're gonna need to figure out where he's at. I think give him another chance, especially if you paid him all that money. Kirk Cousins, we'll see what he does this year. The next QB we have is going to be Caleb Williams, the rookie. The rookie, honestly, for Chicago, played really well last year. Obviously, I think from here on out, they're going to try to build around him. They're going to try to build a team that's going to compete in a really, really hard division in the NFC North. So, overall, you got to be excited on the future of this franchise. And Caleb Williams is going to, I believe, he's going to have some really good years, right? But 23 years old, 1 year in the league, 3 years, $13.13 million on the contract. Played 17 games, 62 and a half completion percentage, 3,541 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, 208.3 yards per game, 87.8 QB rating with a 46.7 QBR, sacked 68 times, which is rough, which is why they're trying to build on their offensive line, which they have been and have been getting a lot better with, especially with the draft and free agency and whatnot. Um, two fourth quarter comebacks, one game winning drive. He had 81 rushes for 489 yards, 28.8 yards per game, 10 fumbles, which needs to be limited. He was 10th in offensive rookie of the year. Overall, he's a solid choice on what to do for the organization, and I do hope that he does have uh, a great year next year, and hopefully to see him in the postseason uh, in the future, and obviously top 10 list in the future. Next on the honorable mentions list, we have actually another rookie QB. I feel like obviously the class that they had in 2024 was extremely important and impactful for the NFL, especially with the talent with QBs. And it's great because, QBs definitely have been on a decline, so having more of a rise on them is it's impactful for the league, impactful for the game, and it just makes lists a lot more intriguing. And seeing what is the what is the overall body of work of these guys, and do they deserve them being on top 10 lists and being relevant and whatnot. Like it shows more of it's a better argument. There's more debates. It's just a really really fun thing to have happen. Bo Nix, though, he's the other guy on this list that's a rookie, 25 years old, 1 year in the league, 3 years, $6.45 million. 17 games played, 66.3 completion percentage, 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 picks, 222.1 yards per game, 93.3 rating, 56.8 QBR, sacked 24 times, three fourth quarter comebacks, three game winning drives, 92 rushes for 430 yards and four touchdowns, 25.3 yards per game with three fumbles. He actually really definitely impressed a lot of people because he got the Denver Broncos to a postseason berth. Played the Bills, which the Bills were just a better team, but overall for a rookie QB to make it to a playoff setting, I think that speaks a lot of volumes to him and the type of leader he's going to be for this organization. Played one game, 59.1 completion percentage, 144 yards, one touchdown, no pick, 93.7 rating, sacked two times, 4 rushes for 43 yards. He was third in Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was sixth in passing touchdowns in the NFL, ninth in game-winning drives in the NFL, and fifth in comebacks in the NFL. Overall, solid QB. I'm excited to see what he does in his second year, and I could definitely see him on a list eventually if he can continue to work on what he needs to work on in terms of limiting the turnovers, increasing his numbers. I see a lot bright future for this guy. Okay, next up, we do have Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. I really enjoy the fact that I believe 2021, 2022, around that time, he had a great year. He was looked at as like an MVP type guy, just one of the most entertaining QBs out there. And I mean, great in fantasy. Just overall, he had a really good year, and he was definitely known as a guy that was going to be a top 10 for the future, and continuously being on these lists. Thing is that he dropped majorly from injuries, from just not producing, and I mean, being on a team that was rebuilding and constantly just having constant issues from coaching and management and whatnot. And it didn't look well. His image was definitely tainted. I believe people thought of him as lazy and not wanted to really play and win. It didn't seem like he cared much to win. But again, these are all factors that people love to look at and criticize and judge and not even realize they don't know who this person is. So Kyler is a really competitive player, and he definitely showed it this year. He was honestly extremely valuable to his team, and you can see that with changes with coaching and whatnot, it brought a better light to his game, and I think that he deserves to be back on a relevant list. Again, he's really impressive and extremely hard to tackle when he's on the run. Kyler Murray, 27 years old, 6 years in the league, 3 years, $111.47 million. He has a $46.35 million club option. So we'll see what happens there. I don't expect them to lose him in any way, shape, or form. 17 games played, 68.8 completion percentage, 3,851 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 226.5 yards per game, 93.5 rating, 66.5 QBR. He got sacked 30 times, 3 fourth quarter comebacks, 3 game winning drives, 78 rushes for 572 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had 33.6 yards per game with 8 fumbles. He was 10th in comeback player of the year voting. He was 7th in completion percentage in the NFL, 9th in QBR in the NFL, 9th in game winning drives in the NFL, and 5th in comebacks in the NFL. Yeah, overall, solid year. I'm excited to see what he does, and I do believe that he's going to continuously make an impact when healthy for the team. Okay, next up, we do have Justin Herbert. Last year, he was number 10 on the list. So, yeah, he's dropped down exponentially, right? I mean, definitely don't want to be an honorable mention guy, especially one on a list. He had a great season this year. Obviously, new coaching and whatnot, threw the ball well. Overall, like, the numbers are there in the regular season. So when he got to the postseason, where again he struggled, and there's only so much that you can blame on someone for so long, or try to deny, oh well, he's still learning, or oh he doesn't have the right personnel with him to be a better QB and whatnot. Well, this year he had a really good year and then just fumbled the bag when it was the time to do that. So it reminds me a lot of the career of a Philip Rivers, where he's essentially fantastic in the regular season. When it comes down to crunch time, it's just not awesome. So overall, he's still solid, he's still relevant, but he's gonna have to find out how to switch that narrative, because again, he's just really bad when it comes to crunch time, playoff football. So overall, though, Justin Herbert, 27 years old, 5 years in the league, 5 years, $222.5 million, 17 games played, 65.9 completion percentage, 3,870 yards, 23 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, 227.6 yards per game, 101.7 rating, 64.8 QBR, one fourth quarter comeback, 2 game-winning drives, 69 rushes for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns, 18 yards per game, and he had 6 fumbles. Again, in the postseason, when he played the postseason, 43.8 completion percentage, 242 yards, a touchdown, 4 interceptions, 40.9 rating. He sacked 4 times. He had 3 rushes for 12 yards and a fumble. He was ninth in the MVP voting. He was 12th in the uh, Offensive Player of the Year voting, ninth in passing yards in the NFL, and seventh in pass rating in the NFL. Again, solid regular season guy. Needs to change that narrative when it comes to playoff time. So overall, yeah, he's still relevant. We'll see what he does this year. Next up, we do have a transition from rookies to veteran type guy, and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers last year was still honorable mention. Obviously, it was a guy that was a top 10 guy, obviously forever, future Hall of Famer, first ballot. Has done amazing things at the league level and multiple MVPs. You can talk about Aaron Rodgers all day. One of the strongest arms in NFL history. Um, and of course, the Super Bowl champion. So a lot of things have transpired with him through this offseason, though. There's really no definitive, clear answer if he's going to retire, if he's going to go and play for a new team. Obviously, not a Jet. So it looks like there are rumors of him going to Pittsburgh and putting on the Steeler helmet. There's rumors that he's just kind of playing everyone along just to retire. He just wants to stay relevant. Like, there's a lot of things, and it's not. This is not new. This is Aaron Rodgers at its finest. He is honestly one of the biggest QB divas in NFL history. I think drama loves that. He loves to make people intrigued. I know that he's really good at selling himself and saying a bunch of things that are just right to make him or make people really believe like no, he's not really with that. He's just trying to figure out his life and stuff, and I can understand that. But it's too many instances of him stalling out and kind of making everyone question what is he going to do next and how much he's going to get paid and whatnot. So with all that said, he's a future Hall of Famer, right? He is a diva, dude. He's 41 years old, 20 years that he's played in this league. This last year for the Jets, 17 games played, 63 completion percentage, 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks, 229.2 yards per game, 90.5 rating, a 48 QBR. He got sacked 40 times, which is so bad, especially as a 41-year-old. That is concerning. 2 fourth quarter comebacks, 3 game-winning drives, 22 rushes for 107 yards, and had 5 fumbles. He was 7th in Comeback Player of the Year award voting. He was 8th in passing yards in the NFL, 7th in passing touchdowns in the NFL, and 9th in game-winning drives in the NFL. He still got it. He's still able to play at a high level, and I do believe that he'll probably come back and play for who knows what team. But I think he's going to be a solid foundation or a solid structure, and wherever he goes, you're obviously going to put him as a contending team because Aaron Rodgers still has that impact. He still is relevant, but again, he is definitely aging and he's definitely losing it on the countdown, especially with QBs coming up and becoming even deadlier than previous. This guy we got is a guy that's been relevant for a while. It's Geno Smith, man. Honestly, super super surprising at one point, when he did have the numbers he had. Now it's just not surprising. He is one of those QBs that really in the thick of things, like, you do want a Geno Smith. I think he's a great leader. I think he's humble. And he is accurate with his passes, dude. Definitely a late bloomer, but nonetheless has done tremendous things in the league, especially obviously putting on the Seattle Seahawks uniform. But he's moving on now, so honestly, this is going to be very, very intriguing to see what happens with his new home. 34 years old, 12 years in the league. Again, last year he was an honorable mention as well. 2 years, $75 million for the Las Vegas Raiders. So yeah, I think that's a really good transition for him. Let's see what he does in a new system. Obviously, he's going to have Pete Carroll, so his old guy there. Meeting him there, I do believe that he'll be pretty impactful. They did really good in the draft, so I'm excited to see what this team's going to be about. And again, the Raiders needed a QB. Geno's a really good fit. He's going to do great things there. 17 games played, 70.4 completion percentage, 4,220 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks, 254.1 yards per game, 93.2 rating with a 3.8 QBR. He was sacked 50 times. Four fourth quarter comebacks, 4 game winning drives, 53 rushes for 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 yards per game there. The 9 fumbles. Obviously, the 9 fumbles is not awesome, and obviously the 15 interceptions is not awesome, and that's where you're going to get out of Geno at times. It's just a bonehead player too, but overall, when you got a guy that can come back for you, that has the amount of yards that he has, and like I said, his completion percentage is really high, man, for past like 3 years. So give it to him there. He's fourth in passing yards in the league, sixth in the passing yards per game in the league, fifth in completion percentage in the league, fourth in game-winning drives in the league, and second in comebacks in the league. So overall, great things there. Definitely see him, again, doing the same thing that he's been doing now in Las Vegas. Lastly, on the list, we do have Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, Baker's been phenomenal. Definitely, a lot of people say overrated, but he's underrated, definitely. He had that really gruesome shoulder injury in Cleveland where it just seemed like they doubted him, and the fact that they just replaced him and let him go. It was very shocking. Definitely had like a period where he had to transition. Played for the Rams, I believe. He got picked up for like a few games, and then obviously transitioned to Tampa, and he's revived his career ever since. So overall, he has been a great field general. He's been really good in terms of getting this team into playoff positioning and whatnot. And like I said, he's super underrated in terms of touchdown machine and can throw that thing, man. But again, he is a gunslinger, so he's definitely going to have a lot of turnovers, which that is a negative for him. But honorable mention for sure. Last year, the same thing. Honorable mention. 30 years old, 7 years in the league, 2 years, $70 million, 17 games played, 71.4 completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 picks, 264.7 yards per game, 106.8 rating with a 61.6 QBR. Sacked 40 times, 2 fourth quarter comebacks, 2 game-winning drives, 60 rushes for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns, 22.2 yards per game with 13 fumbles. Again, that's super high, but it's Baker Mayfield. In the game that he played against the Commanders, 83.3 completion percentage, insane. 185 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 146.5 rating. He did get sacked 1 time. He had 7 rushes for 23 yards and a fumble. Yeah, had a great wild card game. So you can't really dog on him too much. He was 11th in the MVP voting. He was 11th in Offensive Player of the Year voting. He was a Pro Bowler, third in passing yards in the NFL, second in passing touchdowns in the NFL, fourth in pass rating in the NFL, and third in pass yards per game in the NFL, with third in completion percentage in the NFL. Again, super effective, super valuable to the team, and yeah, I think he's reliable, and I do want to see what he does this year and hopefully limit the turnovers.